Which of these is a polyhedron?
One on the left.
Which is a polyhedron?
Oh, yeah, good catch.
Okay. Is this a polyhedron? Why is this not a polyhedron? Because it's got a circle, and a circle is not a polygon. Okay, a polyhedron is made up of all polygons. All right? A polyhedron with two congruent faces that are called bases. So when you have this, it's a little confusing because this could be the base, it meets the definition, or that could be the base, or these could be the base. It doesn't matter when you have a rectangular prism. But when you have this thing, it's a problem, isn't it? What's the base in that shape? Not what it's sitting on.
All the sides.
The two triangles are the only thing that meet the definition for base in this shape. Two congruent faces that are parallel to each other. I got to finish that.
I knew that.
That are parallel. Two congruent faces called bases that are parallel. If a face is not a base, woof, I rhymed. If a face is not a base, this is like a Dr. Seuss riddle. It's a lateral face. Let's talk about that. So these are the bases, right? You see that? These are the bases on the end here, this triangle. That means that these things are the lateral faces. They make up the sides, so to speak. Yeah? How about in this shape? This shape here. These are the bases, the hexagon. These are the lateral faces. They make up the sides, so to speak. Okay? All right. The height is perpendicular distance. I'll stop whining. Between, not by the way, between the bases. The height is a perpendicular distance between the bases.
Is that bases?
Between bases. Now, when I was at Mill Creek for so many years, I had this very old can of ravioli. You would not have wanted to open it up. And I had taken the ravioli, it's like a soup can, and I had put a slit down the label. And then I would take and I would unroll that label. And what shape would it make if I unrolled the label from a can? A rectangle. And if you roll it back up, it goes around the outside of the can, right? And if you unroll it, it's a rectangle. That is the lateral face of a cylinder. It's the thing around the outside here. If you were to cut a slit, this had a wrapper on it, and I unrolled it, it'd be a rectangle. So that is the area of the curved surface of a cylinder. I looked for that old can of ravioli, but apparently it didn't make the move. Like the label on a soup can. It's like the label on a soup can. The area of that rectangle. Okay, the lateral area of a prism. So let's say someday you have to make a column on a house. Like this. I have columns like this shape on my house. When you make a column, do you need the material for the top and the bottom?
Yep. No.
You don't. You don't need the material for the top and the bottom, do you? All I need to know is the area of the sides or the lateral faces of this column. So the lateral area would just be the total area of these four sides. If I'm making a column, that's the amount of material I need, correct? So, The lateral area of a prism is the sum of the areas of the lateral faces. Do y'all know what a cylinder is? Do I need to define a cylinder?
Yeah.
It's this.
I can't see it.
It's a cylinder. I don't need to define that, do I? You know what a cylinder is. It's like a soup can. All right, we're not going to do the warm-up, but however, it's very hard to do surface area if you don't know the formulas for areas of these basic shapes. Gave you a green sheet yesterday. Do you all have that green sheet? On the bottom is these formulas. But I would hope that you would know them. How do you find the area of a triangle? Triangle. There's no circle in a triangle. A triangle is half of a rectangle. Half base times height. How do you find the area of a square? Base times height or side squared. They're equal. Doesn't matter how you write it. Rectangle is base times height. You might also see it as length times width. Doesn't matter. Okay, when we did that activity, how many r squareds fit inside the area of the circle?
3.14.
Thank you. 3.14 fit inside the area of the circle. Pi r squareds. You need those formulas. It's really hard to do without knowing those. All right, so we're going to do this without the equation that we saw. We're just going to look at it like you kind of made that. It's like this. You made that shape. And we're going to get the surface area. How much material does it make to make this? So let's start with the bottom rectangle here. How do you find the area of that rectangle? 4 times 5, right? And there's 2 of them. There's one here and one on top. So it's 2 times 4 times 5. I'll be honest with you. Surface area is a little painful. It's a lot of work. You just have to write stuff down or you get screwed up. Got to write it down, okay? Now, it's not hard at all. So then let's do this side right here. What's the area of that side right there? 5 times 6, and how many of them do I have? 2. I have this side and that side, right? And then up here. Okay. Up on top. I already did that one. We got to do this on the end here. I don't have another color here, sorry. I don't know what to use. This box right here. How do you find the area of that box right there? It's 4 times what? 6, and I have 2 of those. It's kind of a mess there. So let's add this up. This is 40 plus 60 plus 48. When I add those together, I get 148 centimeters squared. You can do it that way. Or you can use this general formula to find surface area, which I think is a lot easier. Okay, surface area equals 2 times, what does the capital B stand for? Does anybody know what the capital B in this formula stands for? Something to do with the base. What about the base? What? It has to do with the base. What is it, Lexi? Yeah, how much material it takes, or the what of the base? The area of the base. The area of the base. You could have a triangle base. You could have a rectangle base. You could have a square base. So that's just a general way of writing it. Capital B. What do you think the P stands for? You saw it on your activity. The perimeter of the base. And then the height of the prism. The height of the prism. Okay? Now, surface area of a cylinder, it can be written like this, but I prefer writing out exactly what B stands for and C stands for. B stands for the area of the what? Base. And in a cylinder, it's a circle, isn't it? So I'm going to write it like this. 2 times pi r squared. That's what the area of the base of a circle is. Plus, what do you think the C stands for?
Center.
There's another word that has to do with circle that starts with C. I heard it. Circumference. Ladies and gentlemen, if I took that soup can label off, it's going to be as long as it is around the circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
The length of that triangle. So, this is circumference, 2 pi r, times the height. It's a lot easier way to write it. You'll see it like that, or you'll see it without the parentheses. This is my preference. This is what I use. I can't do that for this one because my base shapes could be a triangle or something different. But let's practice these. Okay. On the test or the quiz or whatever, you will lose points for not writing down the formula. Basically, all it is plug in the numbers and chug them out on the calculator. Plug and chug. Plug in the numbers to the formula, get the calculator out, and figure out what it is. So, what is the base shape on this particular prism? What's the shape of the base? How do you find the area? Base times height, or length times width. So it's 8 times 13. So what I did right now is I did this part of the formula. Plus the perimeter of the base. Okay, now be careful. When you're finding perimeter of your base, it's not just 8 plus 13. It's also what? Plus 8 plus 13. It's all the way around the base shape. So my perimeter would be 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 26. Does anybody know what that is? I'll tell you, it's 42. What is the height of my prism, do you think? What's the height of my prism? 3. So it's going to be times 3. Oh, look, you have all numbers. You get out your calculator and you do the math. Okay? And that would equal 334 inches squared. That's the surface area. That's how much material it would take to make that box. All right, now here's a different one to look at. It's like this one. Is this sitting on its base? No. What's the base of this shape?
The triangles.
The triangles. Just like this. This is the base. 2 parallel congruent faces. So I'm going to put it, I'm going to highlight that. That is my base shape. Triangle. So I'm going to write the formula down. 2 base plus pH. That equals the surface area. All right, 2. How do you find the area of a triangle? We need the area of this triangle because it's the base shape. How do I find the area of it? 1/2 base of the triangle, which is 6, height of the triangle, which is 2. Plus, okay, I need the perimeter of my base now. So it's 6 plus 2 plus what? 6 plus 2 plus 8, which I got from back here. So that is 16. And ladies and gentlemen, if I took this particular shape and actually set it up on its base, how high would it be? 12. That's the height. If it was sitting on its base, it would be 12 high. Okay? So it's times 12. Pardon me? You get it? So it's like this, and I set it like that, it would be 12. Because it's written right here. 8 and... This, remember, B represents the area of the base, right? My base is a triangle. So I have to find the area of that triangle. Okay? Yeah, so I'm going to highlight it. That's that part. All right, then you just do the math. So you get, this is 1, this is 12 plus, I don't know what it is, 16 times 12, I'm not sure what that equals. Anybody have a calculator? I know the total is 204 units squared. Yeah, so that's 192. Okay, we're just going to do one cylinder for the sake of time. Oh, whining, whining, whining.
I'm so thirsty.
Okay, so I have a cylinder. So the first thing I do is write down this formula right here. Write it down. Let's do this one. Surface area equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. And on your green sheet of paper, you don't have this. You only have that. You might want to write that later. Now let's just plug and chug. Plug in what we know. We're going to use 3.14 for pi.
Plug and chug.
Yeah. What is r in this picture?
5.
3. The radius is 3. Okay? 3 squared. So that's the first part. Now I plug in what I know here. 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is what? Times the height, which is what? 5. Oh, all numbers. Just have to go to my calculator and do the math. And it's about 151 inches squared. Because you're rounding, because of pi. Pi goes forever, so you're going to end up rounding. So you have to put approximately. Okay?